Man, I can't wait to just chill out and play a game of Firefight.
A few moments later.
One of the hardest achievements in all of Halo is the Vidmaster Challenge Endure for getting past the 4th set in an online 4-player firefight game on heroic difficulty. Unfortunately, I don't have 3 other people to play with, so this video is not about that achievement. Instead, I decided to play a game of solo firefight on my favorite map, Alpha Side, and see how long I could make it and if I could make it past the 4th set by myself. Oh yeah, I also decided to do this on Legendary instead of Heroic because that's how we roll here. With the game loaded up, it was time to get to work. If you're watching this, and I'm assuming you know that Firefight is a wave defense game type or Horde mode in Halo first introduced in ODST. It works completely differently than any other Horde mode I have ever played. Enemies spawn in waves. There are 5 waves per round and 3 rounds per set, plus a bonus round. As you progress, difficulty skulls are added that make things a lot harder. To start, you just have the tough luck skull on, which makes enemies a lot better at dodging stuff like grenades or vehicle splatters. As you play, your score is added up and shown in the top right corner. The multiplier is determined by your difficulty and the skulls that are currently active. Finally, in Firefight, you have more than 1 life, but they're still limited. You start with 7 extra lives and gain more through completing rounds. In a co-op game, these are shared between all players. So if you're playing with your friend and your friend is an idiot, if he dies, you'll also lose a life. The first wave is always jackals or grunts, and I was unlucky enough to get jackals. Waves 2, 3, and 4 in each round are always random. In my second wave, seemingly every brute in New Mombasa was after me. My strategy was pretty simple. Get a plasma weapon, take down their armor, and then get headshots. At first I was using the plasma pistol, but the brute plasma rifle is actually better for this. At least early on in the game, we'll come back to that later. On every map there are 4 extra health packs, SMGs, and pistols for ammo. These reset at the end of each round. After a brief moment where I forgot how to aim, I advanced to the 5th and final wave of round 1. The 5th wave is the boss wave. Normally there are always 3 brute chieftains that spawn in the boss wave, but in this round, strangely, I just had 1 spawn. I have 2 methods for taking out hammer chieftains. The first is to drop their shields, unload into their helmet until it comes off, and finish them off with a headshot. The second is to just move slightly out of the way of their swing and backsmack them. The rest of the enemies were easy to clean up, and I made it through the first round without losing any lives. You get 1 extra life for completing each main round, so I was up to 8 lives. Round 2 adds a second skull, Catch. Catch makes it so enemies throw and drop more grenades. And when I say more, I mean they do nothing but spam grenades. The benefit is that they also drop more grenades, and when brutes are stuck in a grenade throwing animation, they're a lot easier to stick.
Reinforcements.
In wave 3 of round 2, I had for the first time in the game, a hunter wave. Now, around this area where I was camping, there is a shotgun, so they aren't that hard to take out. The problem is managing them while also having other enemies around. And you could say, hey Frog, you idiot, take out the other enemies first. But the problem is, if you kill too many enemies, then a whole nother wave will spawn. I panicked and missed a couple sticks on a brute, so I had my first death of the game here. I was able to get him pretty easily after respawning though. In wave 4, I had my least favorite wave of all, drones. I hate drones. They are the absolute worst. They wouldn't be that bad if they were normal, but for whatever reason, Bungo decided to add shielded drones with plasma rifles to Firefight. This time early on it wasn't that bad, but on higher sets with more skulls, they become a big problem. On the boss wave, I got another hammer chieftain, which again is not a big deal, but I also got a gold chieftain. They can spawn either with detached plasma turrets or fuel rod cannons, and unlike hammer chieftains, they won't just charge you and let you easily backsmack them, and you can't shoot their helmets off with the pistol. My strategy for them is to take out their shields with the plasma weapon, shoot their helmets off with the sniper, and then get an easy headshot.
5 enemies remaining.
Later on in the wave, I watched a brute kill himself. That was something. And bada bing, bada boom, I made it through round 2 with only 1 death. But this brings us to round 3 and a big difficulty jump. Round 3 adds the black eye skull, which means your stamina doesn't recharge unless you melee an enemy. Stamina in ODST works like shields in the other games. When you have stamina, you won't take health damage, but once your stamina is down, then your health will start going down. So if you were a Spartan, a lot of this round would be like playing without shields. This was also the round where sniper jackals with beam rifles instead of carbines started to spawn. Fortunately, they aren't nearly as bad as they are in Halo 2. Their reaction times are slower and they don't insta-kill you if you have full stamina. But with the black eye skull on, I pretty much never had full stamina this round, so they were a huge threat. In wave 3, I got invisible brutes, which are super annoying. They throw fire grenades, which kill you if you get stuck, but even if they miss, they keep burning on the ground, and if you step on them, they damage you a lot. Hunters spawned in wave 4. By the time I started shooting them, wave 5 had already started, and I didn't want to fight them and chieftains at the same time, which caused me to rush and die again. I did clean them up pretty quick after respawn. Weirdly, I don't know if it's because the hunters were still alive or not, but the boss wave didn't have any chieftains in it, so I had a pretty easy clear. And just like that, I was through the first set. Well, almost. After round 3, you have a bonus round where you just fight grunts and every skull is on. Dying here doesn't count against you. This round is just for racking up as many points as possible and getting bonus lives based on your points. What I read on the Halo wiki doesn't match how my bonus lives were awarded in the actual game, so I don't know how they work, but regardless, I was given 2 extra lives, which brought me to 10 total. I started at 7 lives, and just like that, I was up to 10. Unfortunately, things only get harder from here. I was now on set 2. Because I was back to round 1 of a set, I reset to just having the Tough Luck skull on. Ketch and Black Eye, they come back every round 2 and 3 respectively. However, as you complete sets, other skulls are added that never go away. So for completing set 1, I now had the Tilt Skull active permanently. The skull amplifies enemies' resistances as well as weaknesses. So for example, enemy shields are even stronger now against human weapons, but they're also weaker against plasma weapons. So whereas before, where I could get away with stuff like using human weapons against shielded enemies, starting at set 2, I have to rely even more on plasma weapons. But hey, I don't need plasma weapons against grunts or jackals at this point, so wave 1, now that Ketch and Black Eye are turned off, is what we call a free wave, meaning if I somehow manage to die here, I should probably just delete my account. In wave 2, I got drones, which I mowed down without mercy. Wave 3, I just got generic brute and grunt squads. And wave 4, I got jetpack brutes. There honestly isn't that much to talk about. This was a pretty easy round. I did almost die in wave 5 by pushing up too far and letting a chieftain get a bunch of shots on me. I recovered though. I finished the round, got an extra life to bring me to 11, and it was on to round 2 of the set, which again means I now have the Ketch skull turned on too, so now things get kinda serious once again. First wave though, still just jackals and grunts, but this time not exactly free because grunts throw plasma nades like fastballs with Ketch on. Wave 2 I got invisible brutes again, but thankfully didn't get caught on fire. And at the start of wave 3 I got an invincible medal. Oh look, is that a hunter? Like nothing. At this point I was feeling unstoppable. Then a second hunter showed up and I got wrecked. Obviously, I'd rather save the life, but the silver lining is that I could start getting all the killing spree medals again for more points. Dying there isn't that big of a deal unless I was unable to get the hunter with my next life, then it would really suck. And with Ketch turned on, I came really close to blowing it, but I did get him down. Speaking of Ketch, in wave 4 I got stuck. So just like that, I go from an invincible to 2 deaths in 1 wave. Same wave, this was really scary. I ran out of plasma rifle ammo and needed to grab more from the center, and I almost died a 3rd time. Then cut to the boss wave. I actually had 3 chieftains this time, 2 of which had fuel rod guns. 2 of them rushed me from the start and I couldn't snipe them. 1 of them I got with the fire grenade, the other one had a fuel rod gun, so I knew if I could get close he'd try to melee me and I could just backsmack him.
For you this was made.
The 3rd chieftain I gave, not to be cliche, a taste of his own medicine. I ended up beating round 2 of the set with only 2 deaths, so while not clean, it could have been a lot worse. Round 3, the Black Eye round, I actually didn't have anything that eventful happen until wave 4. I completely forgot how to aim for a second, and it cost me a life. Cut to the boss wave, and again, I got stuck by a brute for another death. I did get him back though. I completed the round, got an extra life, got 2 more lives for the bonus round, so as rough as I played in set 2, I still finished with 11 lives going into set 3. From set 3 onward, you get a skull that's annoying but doesn't matter too much. It's the famine skull, which makes it so weapons dropped by enemies have half the ammo they would normally. So for example, if a dropped carbine would normally have 20 shots left, it would now only have 10. Wave 1 was free, wave 2 had drones but I made it through, and wave 3 I let myself get cornered and I had another death. This one I was nervous about because it happened close to spawn and I'd have to run past a brute to get to my stuff, and I almost died again, but I managed to pull it out.
Get ready, this won't be easy. Open fire! Ah! Oh! Profits!
Rest of the round, no issue. I started round 2 back at 11 lives. And funny enough, round 2, even with catch on, I had even fewer issues and completed it deathless. Round 3, I had some trouble. I got tag teamed. First, I had a death to hunters. No big deal. It happens. Then a bunch of dumb, stupid, awful drone spawned, and I survived, but they took my health all the way down. I started running towards a health pack. The wave had changed, so I thought I was safe, and suddenly another group of drones started shooting me in the back, and I died. That was it, though. After the last wave in the bonus round, I got to start set 4 with 12 lives. And hey, if I was in a 4-player co-op game on Heroic, this is the set you have to complete to get the Endure achievement, and I still have 12 lives left. In the bag, right? Wrong. This is where Firefight has a huge difficulty spike because of one skull. Mythic. This makes it so all enemies have twice as much health and twice as much shielding. Wave 1 of round 1, no longer free, because jackals no longer flinch enough to show their head when you shoot their hand. You pretty much just have to wait for them to run at you before you can kill them. The plasma rifle, which to this point in the game was the best for shields, now takes twice as long to take down shields. So set 4 onward, the plasma pistol became my preferred weapon for shields because it's still just 1 overcharge, thankfully. With the famine skull on though, you have to trade out your plasma pistol for a new one a lot. I did have this pretty cool nade on a few drones, so that was something. I had my first death of the set on wave 4 because hunters spawned, and I am not good at dealing with hunters. I had a second death on the boss wave because I was rushed by a chieftain and 2 brute captains, and I ran out of plasma pistol ammo. Luckily, they didn't camp my spawn, so I was able to regroup a bit, but I still didn't have a plasma weapon, and I had to take out a chieftain. He had a fuel rod gun, but thankfully he was stupid and ran at me and made it easy. And now I want y'all to count with me. There are 4 brutes here. I throw a grenade, but I get no points, so I didn't kill anyone, and yet the announcer says,
2 enemies remaining.
These brutes keep killing themselves. I don't know what's going on. Round 2, I now have the catch skull. Earlier I mentioned that one of the benefits is more grenades being dropped and brutes being easier to stick. With the mythic skull, that goes out the window because not only do sticks not kill brutes, they don't even take out their armor. And brutes who get stuck will still charge you as if you did take out their armor. So unless you've already taken out half their shields, it's probably a bad thing to stick them. Wave 3 I had hunters, and yeah, as y'all can probably guess, I died. Hunters take a lot of shots with the mythic skull turned on. In wave 5, I ran out of plasma pistol ammo and had to use a plasma rifle, and I had a death where I still am not sure what happened. I had another death later on because I ran out of all of my ammo. That dropped me down to 8 lives, so I was at the lowest I had been since the first set. And now I had to make it through a set with every skull on besides iron. Wave 1, not free, but I did make it through without dying. Wave 2, I got wrecked by a brute with a mauler, but hey, it happens. Wave 3, I had a really scary death because enemies were camping my spawn, and this had a chance to snowball. Afterward, wave 4, I made it through deathless, and then it was time for the boss wave. I got obliterated by a chieftain. After respawning, I had the craziest sequence in the whole game. I'm not gonna say anything, just watch it.
Use your grenade!
The rest of the wave was just jackals, so even though I had no health, I should be good. Never change, jackal snipers. Never change. And there we go. I made it through the bonus round, and that's 4 sets of Firefight completed. Had I been playing on an easier difficulty with 3 other people to help, that would have been an achievement. But hey, this video isn't called Frog Should Have Gotten the Endure achievement but didn't. It's called How Long Can I Survive Legendary Firefight? Or something like that, I haven't decided yet. So, how long can I survive in Firefight? Wave 1 of set 5, no issues at all. Wave 2 of set 5, hunter spawned. Whatever. I've had lots of practice with hunters. No biggie. Well, surely I'll get them my second life. I went from 8 lives to 0 lives, just like that. To keep my game alive, I had to take out a hunter with no shotgun and a fully shielded brute with no plasma weapons. Here's how that went. I got to the boss wave. I can get through and get another life added, and we could be back in business. Well, spoiler alert, instead me and a chieftain did something you'd see in the movies and killed each other at the same time, and that was that. I survived 4 entire sets, plus 4 more waves, which was almost 2 hours, and my final score was about 790,000. So I consider that game to be a success. I don't know if y'all will watch this and think, wow, Frog is amazing, or wow, Frog is mediocre and could have done better. But give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and if you do want to be impressed, click the video on screen where I beat Halo CE on Legendary without firing a single shot. I'll catch you next time.